2, 1. And we're live.
How's it going, guys? Welcome to PTZOptics, Back to Basics.
Today we're talking all about Mac-based live streaming systems. This show is for you Mac users, and we've been having a lot of fun with our Mac Mini here. We have Wirecast on here, we have OBS on here, we have Mimo Live. We've got so many live streaming softwares for Mac, it's getting a little confusing.
Some last minute downloads there too.
Yeah, and some last minute downloads of our PTZOptics PTZ camera controller for Mac. So let's talk a little bit about some of these awesome options. So today we're going to talk a little bit about using a Blackmagic switcher. And what Blackmagic switchers will allow you to do as a Mac user is actually have up to like 8 cameras that are all controlled and switched, what I call upstream. Upstream to a capture card or frame grabber, which can connect directly to your computer via USB 3. And all the new Macs have USB 3, so that's a great way to bring in multiple cameras into your computer. We're also going to be talking about just using a capture card to bring in a couple cameras. Right there, that is the Magewell Pro Capture HDMI, which actually has a 4K model now and has an HDMI loop through. We're using that today, so you'll get to see that. And capture cards are something that we're going to get familiar with in this show, learn how to use them to bring cameras and other video hardware into our Macs. And finally, we're going to be talking about building systems in general and give you some cool overviews. So let's get into it. Oh, and I don't want to forget.
Duh.
Oh, how could I forget? We also have the latest and greatest new tech NDI cameras. The cool thing here is no capture card needed. No video switcher needed. Just a single Ethernet cable plugged into the camera and plugged into your computer. And Macs have great Ethernet connectors. That's your network card, your network interface card. Some people call it a NIC card. We'll talk about how to leverage that and save a ton of money. So let's get into it. Here we go. So using a Mac to build a live streaming software, let's talk about some of the Mac software tests that's out there today.
Sure. First and foremost, the free one, the open source one, OBS, Open Broadcast Software. Great place to start for those of you new to streaming and Mac and PC users alike.
Since you mentioned it, let me go ahead. Oh, you ever see that little spinning Mac wheel there? Get that a lot. Here's OBS right here, and we will be showing this in this presentation. This is the Mac version of OBS, bringing in an NDI video source. Just a little foreshadowing there of what we're going to be digging into later in this presentation. Sorry to interrupt, Tess.
No worries. What do we have? Moving on here, one of the #1 streaming softwares that we see Mac users using is Wirecast by Telestream over there. Hopefully we'll have some demonstration of that for you guys today. Are we pulling in Wirecast?
I hope so. Oh yeah, we've got Wirecast as well. Computer's super slow.
Can't forget about Mimo Live from Boink Software, Facebook and YouTube Direct.
Yeah, and what I mean by that is that Facebook and or YouTube can actually you can actually stream directly to them with no software needed now. I mean, you know that.
Do they have any? They have a few features that you can add. There's screen sharing. I know Facebook has.
Yeah, Facebook has screen sharing.
Guests, bringing on a remote guest is another option.
You might even enjoy that for the geotagging features that they include with that as well.
And can't forget about xSplit.
Yes, and xSplit, of course. So we're going to have to go. I don't know why this computer is like taking forevsky with Safari. I can try.
Did you just say forevsky?
Yes, I did. That's what I say when. Oh, maybe it's because I'm using a. Let's just try opening and starting Safari real quick. I apologize, guys. Tess is listening to the comments in the chat. So Tess, if there's any questions, we'll answer them.
Everybody in the chat, which is kind of fun, when we called out the popular streaming platforms for Mac users, they were all saying, yay, Mimo Live, go Wirecast.
Okay.
Let us know which of these platforms you are using for streaming. Let's find out what some of the more popular ones are.
Yeah, let us know in the chats. Tess has got full social media control, so she's going to be showing those comments live, and we'll be answering your questions. So what is a frame grabber? I so want vMix on a Mac. I hear Vimeo is making their platform available on Mac. Wow, cool.
And MC Produzioni Video wants to see us do more with the Z cams.
Oh, we will. That's a good idea. We
Lots of
definitely should.
Wirecast users out there.
Let me
Hey,
show
everyone.
this capture card and then also this one. So two different capture cards I want to show. This one, let's show them from the ceiling camera because I think that'll be the best view. So here's one capture card here. So what this is this is an HD SDI video signal. Why don't you hold that side, Tess? And then this is the capture card that comes out USB. So we can take professional SDI cameras like this PTZOptics one here, plug it right in and bring it in directly. Oh, we don't have to. And then plug it directly into our computer. Now the next capture card I have here, and I can't bring it any further over, Michael, because it's connected to Tessa's computer.
Another Magewell capture card.
Go a little further.
This
All right,
one's
here.
a little more intense.
This one, let's see if we can get, I can't move it any further. There we go. All right. So here, this capture card here, there we go. This capture card actually is the same deal, but it actually has an audio line in on this side and has two HDMIs. So one HDMI is coming off this Mac Mini actually, and the USB is going into Tessa's laptop. And then the other HDMI is actually feeding this television behind us. So it gives us a great way. That's one thing that we're using right here in our studio right now. We're capturing the Mac Mini into a frame grabber to Tessa's computer to send NDI back to Michael to show that screen. And then we're also showing this screen. So we use these products a lot. And they're plug and play, they're driver free, and they work great with Mac computers. So essentially, you can plug an Apple TV into it. You could plug a high-end broadcaster. You could plug an Xbox into it.
An Apple TV?
Yeah, why not? And then bring that into your Mac Mini as a selectable source in your live streaming software. A lot you can do with these. I always suggest having one in your tool bag because they're not that expensive and they work great. Now, the great thing about capture cards is that you're bringing in each video source individually. So in your software, you can have 4 cameras and you can decide when you want to switch to each one at any time. But what we're going to talk about is a way to take the processing power of all of those 4 or 6 or 8 cameras off your little Mac Mini or whatever Mac computer you have and put that into what I call an upstream video switcher, which is like a Blackmagic switcher. So for example, if you take all of that video switching and you put it into a Blackmagic switcher or any hardware-based HDMI or HDSDI switcher, and you take the output of that video switcher and plug it into a capture card, now your computer is only processing one video feed and you're switching all the cameras upstream. Now, if you're using a Mac Mini or a computer that maybe is dropping frames with multiple cameras, we had a question about that earlier, this would be a way to take tons of processing power off your Mac, but still have access to tons of cameras. And the Blackmagic video switchers are great because you can plug in a couple monitors to that, have full multi-view and all of those things, and only have one video feed that you have to worry about in OBS, let's say, for a free streaming solution and recording. Now, Pro Media is asking about HDMI security issues, so HDCP compliance. Capture cards are supposed to, here Matt is answering that, be aware of HDCP content not transferring through. Most capture devices due to legality surrounding HDCP. So the Apple TV, depending on what content's
not
coming
transferring
from that,
through most of capture devices due to legal issues.
because, you know, with HDCP, they're trying to protect the content. And sometimes you can't do that. Now, the next thing, which I think is a huge opportunity for people using Mac-based computers, is the new tech NDI cameras. Because now we don't need a capture card. We don't need a video switcher. The computer's the software video switcher, and all of the video signals are coming over the Ethernet port.
Saving you time, money, and wires.
Yeah. So let's talk about this from a cabling perspective, Tess. Explain the setup, because it's pretty simple. It's straightforward, I think.
Okay, so I'm guessing you would pair 3 NDI cameras, each brought in via Ethernet, to a network switcher, and then the switch to the computer. That's what it looks like.
Yes. So that switch is a representation of your local area network. And usually a local area network consists of a router and a network switch. And then a lot of times there is a internet modem that is connected to the router or connected. That maybe
This is exactly what we did at Pretty Good Fest.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And or maybe your internet, modem and router are the same thing from Comcast or Verizon or AT&T. It connects to your network switch, which your network switch could be managed or unmanaged. There could be DHCP or there could be no DHCP. We're not going to go into all the networking today, but essentially, if you have power over Ethernet in your switch, you can power the cameras, you can get video and audio on the cameras, and you can control the cameras all over Ethernet. And one of the things we're going to look at today is also, see, you know what? This thing doesn't like my Windows keyboard, I think. We're also going to show in a little bit as well the PTZOptics camera control app as well. And that is
Michael's liking.
Michael's been loving.
Which makes us excited. Should mean other producers will like it as well.
As a producer, he's really been enjoying it. We're going to talk about that more on Friday.
Happy Wirecast family member here.
Yay!
Pairing with the ATEM TV studio and Blackmagic.
So that's exactly what we're talking about today. So Los Video, I think that's a great workflow. All of your switching and recording. And then
of course, Hewitt.
Hi, Hewitt.
Famous for Mac.
Four
cameras and Wirecast over NDI on my Mac. Nice.
One via a Bird Dog Studio.
That's very
cool.
well. Beautiful.
Yeah, the Mac computers are great. They have now here's an interesting thing is not all software supports the NewTek NDI. We are going to show you some free software that uses the NewTek NDI, but Open Broadcaster software, Wirecast, xSplit, and Mimo Live all support the NewTek NDI. So if it's something that you're interested in, these are some softwares that you should look into. OBS is free. Wirecast has two different options in the $500 to $1,000 range. xSplit's only $5 a month.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never actually used xSplit.
Yeah, I'll have to get you a copy of that.
Yeah, that's one that I haven't experimented with.
We'll do a show on it. We'll play around with it. And then Mimo Live is one that a lot of professionals have really liked. It supports.
There's some Mimo Livers here.
We've got some Mimo Livers here. And this is kind of subjective, but now let's move into which of these softwares actually support pan-tilt zoom control. So Wirecast has the best integration. They have the most advanced integration from what I've seen. They have white balance support. They have focus lock. They have 3 different ways to control the PTZ. They have just a bunch of advanced features. They did a really in-depth, their developer, Bryce, did a great job on the integration. Now, Mimo Live has a very, very intuitive, great integration, but it doesn't have all the little buttons for white balance and color and
hopefully
things like
Oliver's not watching.
Well, Oliver, if you'd like to improve that, Oliver's one of the main developers over there. What he does is what most people need. And when you take Mimo Live and you pair it with our control software, which is right here.
There's definitely some cool stuff.
You'd still have
with Mimo Live.
All of these advanced features for luminance and contrast and sharpness and hue.
With Mimo Live, we were able to do the cue to an object control with the camera.
Yes, which is really
Where the
nice.
audience member could type in Paul's head and it would zoom into Paul's head.
Yep. So Mimo Live is probably the second best, but it really is a great software. I'm just talking about integrations. And then OBS, actually, this is a mistake. I wish I had my Telestrator so I could put an X on there. OBS does not have PTZ support.
Technically,
it does, only for PC.
Only for PC.
There is not available for Mac at this
I
point.
thought you made an outside PTZ controller that you could use while you're...
Yeah, so we built the PTZ controller Mac standalone app. It's not a plugin for OBS. So I want to make that clear. And that's our presentation. So now we're going to quickly show you guys some of the free Mac-based tools that are out there to get started. So if you have Wirecast, if you have Mimo Live, you guys are probably happy with what you have and, have fun with it. I think they're great softwares. What I wanted to show today was OBS really quickly. So you can see here we have OBS. And a lot of people don't know this, but OBS now has a studio mode. So in studio mode, you can actually have a preview and a post. And I wanted to show quickly the NDI functionality here. So we went to, this was so easy. It took me like 2 minutes. I downloaded the Mac version of OBS and then I searched OBS NDI plugin. It is available for Mac. I was worried. I was like, is it only available for PC? No, it is available for Mac. And once it's installed, you can go up to Tools here, and you can go to NDI Output Settings. And you can see here that we have the ability to have our main output available via NDI and the preview, which is actually more than you can do on the PC version. Because I don't remember having that option on the PC version personally.
I don't know.
So what that would do is if I check both those boxes, I'm not going to do it because we're in the midst of a show, but if I check those boxes, now our preview and our output will be available on the network for Michael to pull up in vMix or Wirecast or OBS or anywhere on our local area network. Now, the other thing I wanted to show is right here we can hit Add Source. So right down here we can hit Add Source and we can click an NDI source. So I've already done that, and right here we can see that I have a bunch of different NDI sources that are available on my local area network. Now, none of my NDI cameras are showing up, and I was like, why is that? Because I do actually still need to install the NDI HX driver.
Okay.
For Mac. I didn't do that for this show. I really
on this
should
computer?
have. On the Mac.
Okay, on the Mac.
Because the Mac it's not discovering all of our NDI cameras. And I'm like, why is that? Well, that's because we do not have
Sling Studio.
the NDI HX. Oh, Sling Studio is, that's more iOS. I would have.
Because you would use your tablet to control it.
Yeah.
True.
So that's that. And then I wanted to quickly show this for Mac. This is our free pan tilt zoom controller. And I believe that I'm controlling this camera. Oh, you can kind of see it actually below me there. There we go. So I'm controlling this camera here. And I don't know if a lot of people have seen this app yet, but one of the great things about it is the ability to quickly adjust luminance and contrast. So you can see here without having to go into the OSD menu. And the thing about this app, and we've been testing it and improving it, when you go out and do a live stream all day, the lighting changes throughout the day. And when you're in the midst of a stream, you don't want to actually go into the on-screen display menu. So having the ability to just quickly, adjust the luminance, adjust the contrast to get it super sharp as the lighting changes during the day is probably the biggest part of this whole thing. But yeah, the ability to hue, contrast, saturation, shutter speed.
Getting comments on your old version of iMovie.
They saw the iMovie. Take it down.
It's on the computer.
So that is our presentation for some of the great Mac live streaming
Sling
solutions.
Studio now has Mac software. That's interesting.
They do have. I think they have some Mac software.
Yeah.
That's great. Sling Studio is a great option as well. Thank you, Roy, for chipping in there. Sling Studio now is that Mac software? I think it's just for controlling the Sling Studio. I don't think it's like a switching streaming software. But Sling does have a control app for Mac as well now. That's awesome. Because we've got a Sling Studio in here. We might have to test that.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's our show, folks. If you want to follow us to Twitch, and we're going to basically answer more questions and have a little post show there. So
we always have fun over there.
Have
Crazy
some
things
fun.
happen.
To kind of record is off over there, and we'll just hang out with you guys. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube, like our Facebook page, and join our Facebook user group. If you have questions, if you want to talk to like-minded individuals who are doing this kind of streaming stuff, join the group, ask questions, chip in with the conversation.
All right, guys. We'll see you on Twitch. Bye.
What's the matter?